I'm from Bangalore. I'm an undergrad student. I'm pursuing my engineering.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been living in Bangalore all my life, and I'm in my second year of college. So excited to finish college. About a year and a half left for that. So yeah, that's about it. What do you do for a living?
I'm a working professional. I work for an IT staffing company. So I hire people from
Engineer
US.
as well,
Yeah.
right? That's nice. And have you gone through your session document? You told me you were preparing for it.
Yeah, I was taking a look at it. Yes. I was talking about the personality, I think. I had a look at it,
Personality
yes.
it is. Okay, before we start off, if you could describe your personality in 3 words, what are the 3 words you'd use?
I think I'm patient
Patient.
and yeah, I do not get irritated quite easily.
Okay.
And yeah, and I always pursue myself to be perfectionist. Not exactly. This term is very, seems to be like out of reach. But what I do is, yeah, I love uh, to be. I strive to be a perfectionist. But
Right.
yeah, I always think that okay, there could be something which, I mean, it could be better than before. Yeah, so I always
Definitely.
strive in order to be that level. Yeah, and I think yeah, I do not uh, take things in a negative way most of the times because I don't talk negative. I
Mm-hmm.
really refrain myself, from talking negative about anything and anybody. I try to do that, yes.
Yes, you seem to
How
have a
about
very
you? If
positive
I have
aura
to
around
ask
you.
you your, yes, I think yeah. I mean, one must have those qualities and personality type because even if you don't have, if somebody does not have that, then one should strive in order to imbibe those qualities. If I may ask you, what's your personality trait and what do you like to do most when it comes to
Well, I definitely
personality?
do believe that there is more room for improvement. But until now, if there are 3 words that I could use to describe myself, I'd say indecisive. I'm extremely indecisive.
Okay,
I really can't choose things. I'd say indecisive, maybe impatient, which is unlike you. I am quite impatient, which is quite hard for me, which kind of gets challenging for me. So I think taking these Clapingo sessions is definitely helping me quite a bit because I'm meeting a vast variety of people. Right, I'll have to
right.
deal with every single of each person. So yeah, it definitely is a task, but yeah, I think I'm having fun. I'm learning a lot at the same time. And another word I'd say I'm empathetic. I would definitely say that. So I would definitely say that about
Empathetic.
myself.
Okay, what exactly isn't personality type? If you say empathetic, what it literally means?
Well, showing empathy towards others. Okay. I'd say
Okay,
being more. I'd say a
now
lot
that's
of words come under the same thing, right? Being more
yeah,
understanding,
yeah.
right? Yeah, maybe not questioning too much, understanding, being patient. Sometimes, I mean, I am definitely impatient, but I think according to the situation, I can mold myself.
Awesome. That's a great quality to have, isn't it?
Which personality do you think makes a person? Okay, let's say if you could change something about your personality, what would it be?
Okay. Okay. So I think I don't want to hurt anybody's sentiments.
Right?
I try my level best in order to make sure that never happens from my
Mm-hmm.
end. And then, of course, I mean, you don't want to be impatient yeah, most of the times because that will lead to a lot of complications,
Right.
knowingly, unknowingly, right? And at certain point in time, the people are very aggressive these days, only all because of their impatient or they wanted things to be done as soon as possible or as per their ways. So that leads to the aggression. And you talk something which probably might hurt somebody's sentiments. So, and there are a lot of people who are pessimistic these days. They talk negative all the time. And if you're struggling, if you're not able to find some ways out for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You always think negative, start thinking negative about it. And you probably keep yourself away, derailing from the track most of the times. And then that happens to be the situation will get aggravated over the course of period over the period of time, right? and you wouldn't realize. Maybe you would realize at later stage. So you have to stay
Right.
positive, do whatever you like, do whatever you
Yes.
love, and spreads the happiness all around. Yeah,
That's definitely that. Okay, but at the same time, since you spoke about aggression, what do you think about the younger generation?
they are
Do you
becoming
think they're
aggressive.
comparatively more aggressive?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think, I mean, these are the qualities, these are the personality types. I
Right.
think most of the people are uh, inevitably being caught, or they become aggressive. Why? Because they always wanted to get things done quickly, as soon as possible, in the fingertips. Right?
Yes.
So if something is said, if it's not being said, if it is not being taken seriously from their parents, from their friends, or probably anybody for that matter, they become aggressive. And one has to keep control on those types, personality types, I would say. And yeah, all because of the even technology and everything. We are actually slave of all those things right nowadays.
Right.
Even if you don't want, you don't like, but that's for sure, that's bound to happen.
Yes.
And yeah, and as I said, like, yeah, that's something which probably most of the children nowadays
Yes.
are getting caught. Yeah,
But what do you
being
think is the reason for the paradigm shift in the personality of the kids? There must be something that must be causing it.
I think, yeah, the freedom that they think, okay, so if you say, for example, the today's children, right? So
Mhm.
if you ask them something to do, not to do, it'll reflect that as if you were imposing your um, uh, your behavior
Authority.
or authority, yeah, um, o- on your children, and they might get offended at a certain point in time, and they'll feel like, okay, I'm under pressure, and then you are whatever you're saying, that's probably not the correct way of dealing it. And now we have access to everything, right? You've access to all the things you can probably think about it, which we didn't have 10, 20 years ago. So if you even the patterns, the teaching style and everything have got changed nowadays. Teachers are also a little in a back seat, and they do not
Hmm.
care. Yeah, so I mean, if you do not follow your teachers, they wouldn't um beat you at a certain point in time, or reprimand you much, right? which we
That's
which probably we had experienced when we were back in school, right? Nobody was there. I mean, teachers were always right, and whatever they say, whatever they ask you to do, you have to wholeheartedly follow, right? There's no question why. And
yes.
then again, these are things that you would realize later in the later stage. But now I think people are very aggressive, students are very aggressive. And if at any point in time, if there is something said no to them, then you'll have to be ready for the repercussion. And yeah, all of these things are getting uh, changed, over the course of time. And as you said, like, yeah, we are shifting the paradigm, so that, yeah, that's how it is happening. What do you think? How old are you, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I'm 19.
19 years, okay.
I
So
can
I
totally
think
relate to what you're saying, honestly, because I go through pretty much the same thing in my house, right? A lot of
yeah,
restrictions being imposed at the same time, not a lot of freedom being given, a lot of things being denied, me being rebellious at the same time. I can totally
yeah,
understand. It does
yeah,
happen. It very much does happen. But all the people that I've met, then it's something that happens. It's something that happens for all the teenagers. All the teenagers are dealing with it. It's not something very big to talk about or speak about. But
yeah.
yeah, I think
Do
it
you
is
think
normal.
it can be okay? Do you think we can probably work on it, and it can be changed at a certain point in time?
Well, something that I've understood, that it's not really easy to change my parents because they come from a very orthodox and conservative family, right?
Okay,
They've been brought up with some kind of thoughts. So I've stopped arguing. So I've stopped acknowledging most of the things they say. I've just been working on my own stuff. So I
okay.
think that's a better way. Maybe finishing off, moving out someday would probably help me rather than sitting and arguing and wasting my time.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
correct.
even though my parents are quite educated, I don't think they would understand a lot of things. They definitely have different perspectives towards life. So, since we
Generation
are
gap, I
speaking
think.
about this, there is something my parents say. What do you think about this? Do you believe that with age comes wisdom?
Oh yes,
You
yes,
really
that's
think
right.
so?
Yeah,
Why would you
I
say
think
so?
so because maybe say for example, if somebody who's very aggressive, right,
Mm-hmm.
initially when they are in their in their 20s, maybe, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe when they are graduating, right? So uh, maybe after 10 years down the line, they'll realize there'll be a lot of behavioral changes scientifically as well,
Right.
and you would come to realize that later on, which you probably might not be in a position to realize when you are in 20s, as I mentioned. So you will you will see things happening all around, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you will realize that it's not the way that how how things happen all the time. And if you are aggressive, you'll find people who are more aggressive than you,
Yes.
and yeah, it'll treat you like the way you always treat others. So you would realize that okay, this is not actually the way to respond to a situation or react to a situation, particularly, if I may say, because people are very reactive these days, right? And that's also a kind of a personality trait. In order to respond them, you react so hard, and consequently, you also face the same reaction from others. So you realize later on that okay, that's not the way that one should. I mean, keep calm. Keep your things under your control. Keep your feelings and your aggression under control, and everything will. You'll see the big change that's happening. You'll experience all those things if
So you
you're
would
calm and
probably
controlled.
say with age comes experience, and experience has a major role to play in how you're going to react in the future.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So definitely, I totally understand. With age comes experience. That's again something I have learned because if I look back at myself 2 years ago, I was a totally different person. I've changed.
Right,
Maybe 2 years down the lane, I'd probably look at this 19-year-old self and probably question a lot about my personality and what I was thinking about. Right?
right, right.
Was that something you went through as a teenager?
Yeah, I think everybody goes through this challenges, or probably the transformation or transition, whatever you call it, right? And that's something which is inevitable. I mean, that happens with everyone.
What do you think
Uh,
was the most challenging for you during that phase?
Challenging is again in whatever you wanted, that that are not being taken seriously most of the times, because you're not in a position to understand the pros and cons of it, right? You straight away make a decision, and under the influence of probably somebody, or under the influence of your friends, under the influence of the situation, but you are not at all aware of the consequences. So most of the times
The
that happens.
consequences of being impulsive.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you're in a position to judge things around, and you're in a position to understand the situation better than before, I think you would start realizing that okay, I mean, I was probably wrong at that point in time. So that's something which is again a learning stage.